So if you're a guy that's got a busy work schedule, a lot going on, back-to-back Zoom meetings, and you're working 50 to 80 hours a week, you most likely deal with temptations at work or even at home if you're working from home. And I'm going to give you guys some examples today on how you can avoid those temptations, whether you're working at the office or you're working in your bedroom. So, of course, as always, leave a like, comment, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and message me the word optimize on Instagram if you would like more info about how I can help you lose weight consistently without counting or restricting a single calorie at all whatsoever. So let's get right into the video. So I'm gonna go over the in-home work, right? Working from home and dealing with temptations there at the house, because one, it's a little bit more prevalent now to see people working from home, and I do it myself, and two, it's actually a little bit more difficult to avoid temptations at home in comparison to the office. And the reason that is because you're around the corner from the kitchen. And convenience is in full swing, right? You know, things aren't as convenient whenever you're in the office. You kind of have to go out of your way to get fast food. You kind of have to go out of your way to go to a restaurant with your coworkers or your colleagues. At the house, you could just go right downstairs, open the fridge, and eat garbage. So the first and most obvious solution is to just completely eliminate any garbage from your home. I know with myself, knowing that Thanksgiving just ended recently, that if we got 3 to 4 pecan pies in our pantry at home, it's going to be much more difficult for me and the rest of the family to avoid temptations if there was just none of it or we just decide to throw it away. So first thing I would do is just completely eliminate all garbage foods, processed sugars, carbohydrates, and seed oils, things I don't need to tell you to avoid, things you already know you should be avoiding. Just remove that away from the pantry. Just get that out of your kitchen and replace it with something else. And that leads to number 2, which is finding alternatives, find some solutions. Many of my clients inside the program that where I work with them one-on-one online, when they have access, to an all-inclusive app, they also have access to recipes from 9 recipes to 15 recipes per week. And I know if you are very busy, it may not always be feasible to have a 45-minute recipe to be spending hours in the kitchen, but making something that doesn't taste like complete garbage, and if anything, probably tastes just as sweet as a pecan pie that's still pretty good for you and only takes about 15 minutes, that's pretty good. And a lot of my clients do get to experience that, but for you today, since you're most likely not in that program, I want to share with you a really, really good alternative, a really, really good recipe that you can use if you're craving something sweet, even if you're not physically hungry and you don't feel that emptiness sensation in your stomach. There's this thing, it's called animal-based ice cream. Now, I will give full credit to Paul Saladino for this, but I've put a little bit of a spin on this as well to make it taste a little bit better and also get some additional protein content as well. So what you do is you get some whole milk just so you can get a good fat to protein ratio, put it in a blender, and get your choice of fruit in a bowl. I would prefer frozen fruit just because you can make it almost taste like a smoothie, right? But we're gonna go over that in a second. So you get your choice of fruit. Usually I go with pineapple, pears, bananas, and maybe a few berries. And you can also diversify this as well. But you dump that in and you add some honey, some raw and local honey. And if you can do organic, that's even better. But if not, that's still fine. Put that all in there, mix those 3 together, whole milk, frozen fruit, and honey. Takes no time at all, blend it up. You really don't even need to cut the fruit either because you're gonna be blending it anyway. And then voila, you got a fruit smoothie. Now, if you wanna dedicate a little bit more time to this, you can if you want to. So let's say you drink your smoothie, you make a whole lot of it, and you don't have time to, drink the whole thing. Let's say you got another meeting in about 10, 15 minutes, you don't have time to drink it all, or you just get full. You can take that same drink, put it into a bowl, put a lid on it, and put it in your freezer. Take it out whenever you're hungry again, let it thaw for 10 to 15 minutes, and it's literally like you're tasting like sherbet ice cream. I mean, that's literally what it tastes like, just without any of the garbage additives, any of the added sugars such as maltodextrin, dextrose, or sucrose, or sucralose, I should say. So that is a much better alternative than getting some pecan pies or any other garbage that would be coming, from your pantry or whatever it may be. If you got things hanging around after Thanksgiving or Christmas, New Year's, or whatever it is, the holidays are coming up, so this would be a really good video topic for you to take advantage of and apply to your kitchen inside your home so that you can be prepared. And that's one way you can be prepared, is by one, just eliminating it in the first place, doing the obvious thing, but then replacing it with a good solution. Replacing it with foods that you can make very quickly, that taste good, aren't going to give you, a very crazy insulin response. And fruits will, of course it's nuanced. I have to make this somewhat general because it's not specific for everybody. Some people can consume fruits, some people can't, depending on how hyperinsulinemic they are or how sensitive they are to fruits. But it is definitely 10 times better than eating garbage pecan pie. So those are really good techniques that you can use at home if you're working from home and you're dealing with a little bit more of a convenience issue. So now if you're in a position where you're at the office, we have to change our strategies a little bit, because although the convenience isn't there in comparison to eating, junk food at your house or binging when you're working from home, you're still going to deal with temptations, but it's most likely going to come from your coworkers or your colleagues bringing garbage foods into the workspace. Kind of bringing in that first problem that we talked about, which is, trying to just eliminate it in the first place. And if you no longer have control over that, we have to come up with different strategies. And the first one is just to bring something else. Once again, find a solution. Kind of goes into the second one that we talked about earlier, right? Which is getting something else that is going to give you a good insulin response but still tastes good and doesn't take that long to make. I've made a short video on my Instagram. You can find it down in my Instagram somewhere, probably 30, 40 videos ago. I think I took this video about 2 months ago where I made 6 meals inside 15 minutes using just 3 burners and 3 pans. You lay out 6 containers, 6 lids each. You put your choice of meat in each pan. Let's say if I wanted to diversify it a little bit, do chicken in one, salmon in another, and do some ground beef in the third. I can have some vegetables cooking in my microwave. It could be mixed veggies, it could be cauliflower and broccoli, it could be asparagus, green beans. Hell, I could even get an apple, banana, or any other fruit, such as berries or anything like that, that doesn't need to be cooked, that I can just throw in to my container. You don't have to slice these avocados, you don't have to, saute anything, you don't have to spend hours on end in the kitchen. You can just have all those things cooking simultaneously, maybe a little bit of multitasking if you have to, take the vegetables out of the microwave, which really takes 5-10 seconds, but then you just dump that in to your container before or after your meat is done cooking. I prefer to have my meat on the bottom. I just pour it on, and basically what I do is I got those 6 containers, right? You can basically do 2 containers with each having a different meat, right? So we use the analogy of salmon, ground beef, and chicken. So for 2 containers, it could be chicken. The other 2 could be salmon. You get it, right? And then we just mix and match those vegetables and mix and match the fruits that we choose. We're eating nothing but natural, higher fat, higher protein foods, natural fruits that don't really require any cooking, and some microwavable vegetables. Perfectly fine insulin response. You can make it taste pretty good if you add in some Goya or Slap Your Mama. Throw it on there at the last minute. You put the lid on, and even if you're in a situation where you're not making this the night before, you could probably still get away with, just making this really quick, even just 15-20 minutes. You get up somewhat early and then just have 6 meals, not even just ready for the next day, but the next 3 days. So if we come back to the analogy that we were using for temptations at work, you'll be prepared. If somebody says, hey, I brought in some donuts, or I brought in a slice of pizza, or whatever it is, or a big box of pizza, you can just go right ahead and say, hey, I don't want to let this food go to waste. I already brought something, but I really appreciate the offer. And if they respect you and they respect your goals and your ambitions and your health, which is something that they certainly should respect, even if they're not your friend, even if they're just your colleague or your acquaintance, they will step back and say, no problem, it's not an issue. And of course, I got plenty of videos on my Instagram on how to deal with those people that continue to push you even whenever you say no. So feel free to check that out. Once again, my handle for Instagram is It's Bobby O'Brien. Of course, you're more than welcome to message me in case you would like some more info about my online optimization program, or even if you just got some questions about what you should be doing right now to see really good results. I'd be more than happy to help you. And of course, if you'd like to just go ahead and get started right away, where I can start helping you right here, right now, to fully optimize your insulin response so you can lose weight with each and every meal. Get you a fully customized workout program, meal plan, personally review your meals, give you an integrated accountability system, and give you 24/7 access to message me as your one-on-one coach. You know what to do. Click the link in the description. Book your one-on-one call with me today. I'll be more than happy to gather some information from you so we can make a fully customized program that is tailored just for you. Now, going back to the analogy of dealing with people who have to continue to push you while you're at work, the videos where I go over that is mainly just kind of standing your ground, showing how your health is a priority, and basically how you can nicely, we give you a confrontational method and a non-confrontational method that you can use. But if you want to be a little bit more confrontational, you can tell them, why do I have to cheat along with you? Why can't you just cheat on your own? Or why can't you and John and Jalissa or whoever it is go and eat, the slice of pizza in the boardroom or whatever it is? Or why can't you guys just go ahead and eat, the McDonald's that you guys picked up inside your office? I already got some meat here. Why? Or basically just frame the question in a way where it's confrontational enough to your liking, but you're basically phrasing the question that says, I'm already good over here. I already got something, but why do I have to go off of my diet with you? Framing the question in a way where it basically puts the pressure on them, and basically you're asking a really good question. You're asking them why you have to go off of your diet with them so they can feel better about their own bad behavior or their own bad health and dietary habits. So you can choose how you can phrase that question. We give you some options in that video, and you're more than welcome to find it on Instagram. Now, if you are in a scenario, though, let's say worst case scenario, you're at work, but you didn't bring anything. So you forgot, you didn't have time, whatever it is. You're in a situation where coworkers want to go out to dinner somewhere, they want to go get fast food, but you don't have anything, and you have to go along with them. What are you going to do? Well, you can use, once again, this main rule whenever it comes to eating at a restaurant, fast food restaurant, or eating out anywhere, which is making sure that you eat some higher fat, higher protein foods and fill the plate up with that, and then get some additional side orders such as guacamole, any onions, cilantro, pico de gallo, sour cream. I'm mainly using some Mexican restaurant ideas here, but that's really where people like to go whenever they are eating out for dinner or going out to eat on the weekend anyway, or even if they just want to eat out and take a break from work. But you can still do that at so many other different restaurants. You can do it at McDonald's even. You can get some ground beef patties. Once again, knowing that McDonald's does not cook their meat in seed oils, you can get some additional Swiss or provolone or any other cheese that's not American cheese that's processed on 50% on average. You can throw in some fruits, throw in some vegetables. You can add some tomatoes and lettuce, guacamole even, mix it all up, and then you got a good meat pie. That's just one example for McDonald's. Now, if you wanted to use more of a restaurant analogy here, you can basically get some al pastor, right? If you're going to a Mexican restaurant, make that your main course, make that your main meal, and then you can add all those side orders to go along with that you can basically dump onto it. So you can get some grilled onions, you can get some cilantro, get some pico de gallo, you get some avocado or guacamole. And this is what I really like to do. This is a gem. I like to get some white queso instead of getting yellow queso and then pour that onto the al pastor. And how good does that sound? You're literally blending in. You're in a situation where you're not the odd man out getting just a salad bowl at a Mexican restaurant or a burger joint. If you do that, people will pick on you a little bit and you will kind of feel like the white elephant in the room. But if you get something like that checks all the boxes of higher fat, higher protein foods are going to give you a good insulin response, and simultaneously you're avoiding all the garbage, all the processed carbohydrates and sugars, and the seed oils. If you can, ask your waiter or waitress to remove it from the grill or the pan that they choose to cook with, then you're golden. Then you can have all this flexibility. And that al pastor example is one of many. Higher fat, higher protein foods that have some natural carbohydrate sources dumped onto it. And then, of course, you got that white queso that makes it taste a million times better. So that is the way to go. If you go to a Mexican restaurant, that's what I do all the time. You blend right in, and you don't feel like this odd man out that's eating a salad. And, you basically, blending completely in a way where your coworkers are not really even going to say anything, And if they do say something, you can just tell them that you like al pastor meat with white queso and guacamole and grilled onions. It's none of their business anyway. And you can always refer to those, I wouldn't want to call them, I feel like I'm trying to think of a really good word that you can use to basically deal with those friends. But basically it's really just dealing with peer pressure, right? You're just using strategies to deal with that peer pressure from your colleagues, your coworkers, or your friends, or even your family. And it's really just phrasing the question in either a confrontational or a non-confrontational way, where you frame it showing that you already have a plan, you've already made up your mind, and you're just simply asking them why you need to deviate from your plan in order to basically make them feel better about themselves. And you can either choose to say that in a nice way or not much of a nice way. Personally, if somebody's being aggressive with me about it, I am more than happy to be as blunt with them as possible, and I really don't care. But some of you do. If it's a family member, that's totally understandable. If it's your brother or your mother, then you may want to be a little bit more gentle with it. But it's a great way to just avoid going off of your diet and just blowing all of your progress. Maybe not all of your progress, but a solid amount of it, just because your friends wanted to go to McDonald's or, let's say, some Mexican restaurant or some burger joint and just order whatever it is on the menu, and they wanted you to do the same thing so they can feel better about themselves. So don't fall for that. Use those strategies for working at home or working in the office, and I promise you, if you use those strategies, you implement them right now, you will be able to get out of those situations and find yourself seeing results while still making your diet flexible and fun. So if you like this video, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at itsbobbyobrien. And of course, as always, if you want more of a customized program, you know where to go. Click the link in the description below, and you can book a one-on-one call with me today, and I can definitely help you see some amazing results that you can see on the scale as soon as possible, the number going down each and every week, month in and month out, right here, right now. You know what to do. Click the link, and I will see you very soon.